Hi Libra, I hope you guys are doing great. Welcome to your general messages for the 17th to the 23rd. I'm going to do what I did last week. We're going to do career and relationships separately. I'm going to start with career this time, so if you're not interested in that, check the description box below. I have a timestamp, so you could just jump forward to that. Okay, for your convenience, I put that in. Hope you guys are doing fabulous today. So I'm going to start by, instead of pulling a crowning energy, I'm going to pull 4 of my Halloween tarot, just because it is the season. Okay, let's just get right into this. Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. You do want to make sure, guys, you check all of your placements for the best holistic message for you. Okay, so we're starting off with strength for career. I do like that. That's great. That's about you really focusing on respecting yourself, being very courageous, being very brave, hardworking, very creative. It's a creative energy too. So strength is a Leo card, and Leo's the 5th house of creativity. I always look at the 5th house as well when somebody wants to open their own business, right? Because it's creation. So we end up, it's not only is it our ability to be creative, but it's our ability to create a business or, create some sort of avenue through which maybe we can make money out of something that we're very good at. Okay, and then it's working with the 6 of Ghosts, which is the 6 of Water, 6 of Cups. So yeah, there's some nostalgia here. You might be connecting with people who maybe you used to work with or you went to school with. But 6 of Cups also is about receiving a gift. So maybe somebody is gifting you some money or gifting you something that will end up helping you. Somehow on, in your career. For a lot of you, this is going to be the decision to return to something. So this could be the return of a place that you used to work at, return to an idea that you had once upon a time, like, oh yeah, I remember when I wanted to do X, or maybe return to a project that you actually started, a book that you were writing, or anything like that. But there is this idea of returning to the past, for sure. And then we have the 10 of Bats. So and this is be the 10 of Swords. So the 10 of Swords is like it's a complete and painful ending, Libra. There's a hitting rock bottom, having something to do with your career right now. So that could certainly be ending a cycle in a job, getting fired, quitting, you just having absolutely enough of somebody who you were working with. But the 10 of Swords energy, because it's Mercury in Virgo, and Mercury rules Virgo, this is really about whatever this was literally just so unhealthy for you, right? Because remember, Virgo is that 6th house. It's where our health hangs out, our mental, physical, and emotional health. And Mercury is, it's all about communication and looking at these things. So something was very abusive that you were a part of, like lots of gossip, or gaslighting, deflection, just not a healthy work environment. You were not in a healthy work. It wasn't good for you. Anyway, let's pull one more. And then we have the 2 of Ghosts, which is the 2 of Water. And this tells me that there's some sort of proposal going on right now, some sort of proposing an idea. Maybe starting a business, something like that, or maybe you're just opening a business. But guys, this could also be you coming to terms with somebody that you're working with where a very much needed conversation is had in order to clear the air and make improvements. So, a very basic, like day-to-day example would be your work schedule's not working out for you, or you need to address something within the work environment. It doesn't have to be so dramatic, but it's like a necessary conversation that ends up going well. So I could see the 10 of Bats being this like, no more, I'm not taking X, Y, and Z anymore, and then having the conversation about it, but it going well regardless of what it is. So it could be you making the decision recently to tell your business partner or to tell your boss or people that you work with, like, look, this is just really not working out for whatever reason. It wasn't working out. But I like that it's very much like you're focused on your creativity is definitely which is, I love that for Libra, because you guys are ruled by Venus, and Venus is a very creative energy. So Good stuff. All right, so let's pull some Lenormand, and then we'll get into the regular tarot. Yeah. Okay. Just for Libra. Just for Libra. Foundation. Love. Loving what you do. Having what you need. You know, remember I always say, you know, when I talk about the Lenormand, the ruby ring, this, you know, it goes back to, you know, back many, you know, obviously many years ago when rubies were a lot easier to get, actually. But they used to put rubies in the foundation of buildings to ensure a strong foundation. So there is something going on here that you're doing what you love, but it's providing you with a strong foundation for what's necessary to get there. Okay, so we have to look at the compass. Where's the compass pointing to? The need to cut something out. We have the scathe. What needs to be cut out? Something that's really troubling you. Now, for some of you, you need to cut out somebody who's siphoning money from you, Libra. Somebody who's being really dishonest regarding money, somebody who is heavy-handing you, or being very heavy-handed when it comes to either helping themselves to money within a connection that you have with them regarding your career or money in general, or the mice could also be just something that's really bothering you, that's inescapable. It's like that thing that you can't escape from. Now, the heart is the shape of happiness and peace. So we have something needs to be cut out that's bothering you so that you can have the happiness. So we have the fish, and the fish is all about resources. Having what you need right now, that really is what this is. Having what you need. And understanding that while you may be working towards a particular goal regarding your finances, the fish showing up says that you need to work with what you have right now, regardless of what it is. You can't make more out of what you have right now in the moment. That doesn't mean that you can't end up making more, but it's more about living in the moment, recognizing what you do have to work with and working with that. We have the anchoring. Like, that's the key. So what I'm seeing here is the key to understanding something regarding money and your career is you need to get in touch with either. There are two things here. Someone who is siphoning money from your situation, or two, getting in touch with something that's deeply troubling you. And it does look like in order for you to have this happiness, you have to understand what you have right now and figure out a way of making it work for you right now in the moment. Again, this is only for 1 week. This is for now. So again, does not mean that you can't have, you are, because you got the ruby. So the key to the ruby ring is for you to cut out this toxic thinking, which I'm sure it would be indicative of the mice, that worrying way too much about money. Worrying about finances is normal, absolutely normal, especially if you have your own business, but even if you don't, I mean, that's normal. But worrying more than you can fix it in the moment is counterproductive. You know, so this is definitely an energy of staying very okay, this is what I'm working with, and stay very solution-based rather than over-focusing on problems or what you don't have. Very solution-based in order for you to have that strong foundation that you really need to have. So I'm going to do a Celtic cross spread. I'm going to just change things up this week. Okay, so let's pull a card to see where you're at right now. Libra friends. What's Libra at right now? I feel like I need to cut 4. I'm not interested. Okay. Happening now, we have the moon. All right, so some sort of unseen problems that you're vibing, or somebody that you're dealing with is feeling. This is about voluntary changes, having something to do with your career. You're very much trusting your intuition, though, right? But there is this kind of like lack of clarity, right? Because the moon, even though the moon rules Cancer, it is connected to Pisces and Tarot. And Pisces is that 12th house energy of the subconscious. It's also the house of self-undoing. So you want to make sure that you're not ruminating or you're not doing anything to sabotage a situation, or that you're dealing with an energy who might be doing this. You're going to know how it resonates with you. But that's the situation. That's what's happening right now. What's influencing you for better or worse is the Eight of Wands. This is great because this is like quick news coming in. This is like a bolt of lightning from the sky. It really is. It's even though, I mean, this is just a very quick moving energy is the best way for me to explain this. You know, it's funny, even though this is a Mercury and Sagittarius energy, and I feel like it's that because it's a very good, and like good news coming in that incites quick changes, it's almost like a Uranus vibe, you know, because Uranus is kind of like a bolt of lightning out of nowhere. It's like, boom, change. Some of you may be in a situation where whatever news comes in, you may actually find yourself moving, like moving jobs, or needing to move for a job, or you've recently moved location, something like that. But there's movement here, right? The Eight of Wands is all about movement. So this is what's influencing the situation for better or worse. So, yeah, I mean, and going back to the moon as well, since it does rule Cancer, and Cancer is that 4th house, I feel like what it is that you're feeling inside is, you know, am I going to have a strong foundation if I stay in this? Am I going to be able to make this particular situation work? But you may not be talking about it, right? Because again, the moon, you're feeling this very, very deeply. But I do like, this would be for the better, the Eight of Wands, this movement. This is a good energy. Let's see what your hopes and goals are. We have the King of Swords. So all about trying to stay very, very focused on the mental. All right. Does seem like that this is your goal right now, and that would be a good thing. This is being very strategic in how you're approaching something, strategic thought, not allowing your emotions to rule the day, just looking at the facts and working with whatever it is that, whatever you have to do. No matter how emotional the situation is, it really is about tapping into your mental space in order to, you know, deal with the situation. Let's see what the recent past has. Okay, we have the Three of Swords in reverse. The Three of Swords in reverse is kind of like a sense of recovery or healing from something that had to do with the career. So recently you're healing. You're getting past something very painful that happened having to do with money. So maybe either you recently switched jobs, or you're getting over the breaking up of a partnership, or the leaving of something that's gone on. But it was like the end of a bad period. I feel like you recognizing that you've reached the end of a really bad period recently in your career. Because this is all about pain and betrayal. So it could have been the accumulation of something, and then it comes to light, and then the swords fall out. So at least you can move forward. It doesn't mean it's the end of everything, but at least means that there's an end of a negative cycle behind you, and like good riddance there, right? Good riddance. So let's see what's beneath the history that's continuing, that's contributing to the situation. Okay, so we have a Three of Cups reverse. So this is telling me that there was like too much gossip involved in something. Somebody was just grossly irresponsible. You were working at a place that was just very poorly run. You were working with someone who was very irresponsible. They weren't motivated. They weren't on the same page as you. This could definitely have been the situation. Or, Libra, it could have been that maybe you weren't as focused as perhaps you should have been, right? Because that can be like, too much focusing on maybe your personal life where it got in the way of your your work life, whether it's like you were partying too much, or in a bad space within a relationship, and where it ended up impacting your career. And, listen, if that happened, it happened. What are you going to do? Everybody goes through that from time to time, right? So just this really does tell me, though, that this had something to do with the change in career. So either you were irresponsible. I'm not vibing that though, but regardless, it doesn't matter. I have to say that because it's a general reading. You dealing with people who were super gossipy and just a very kind of like toxic work environment. See what's going on in the near future. 10 of Cups, fabulous. This is great because this is about having total like just support, being in the right space, feeling like you're on the right path. It's a good energy because it's Mars in Pisces, right? Mars is that warrior planet that rules Aries. Aries is all about a fresh path, a new perspective, and Pisces represents your dreams. So having the fight in you, having the fire in you, and having all the tools that you need to start this new path to kind of go in this other direction. That's really nice. Okay, so this has to do with your attitude, your perspective. We have the Chariot reversed. Okay. So this is Libra. Because this is an energy of giving up, right? Losing direction. Just losing direction and feeling like not making the best choices. I always call the Chariot reverse is sort of like you're on that path, you know, on that old bumpy country road, and you lose control of the wheel. And you end up kind of going down into the ditch in the forest, right? And you're upside down. So it's not the end of the world, but it's going to take you a while to get back on that path. And if only you had kept your hands on the wheel, kind of thing, right? So this does indicate listening to the wrong people, not getting the best advice, you know, even if people are well-intended, right? You want to try not to give up, though, on something, because I know the energies are challenging. You guys are a cardinal sign. Things are a little challenging right now, I know, but don't give up because it is going to lighten up. So we want to turn this right side up so that you can just leave with whatever toxicity you know, you might be nursing regarding this situation. You just want to be careful. Be very careful of the decisions that you're making right now regarding your career and money. So we have the opinions or the attitudes of the opinions, of those close to you. Right now we have the Two of Swords. So the Two of Swords is the people around you are willing to compromise with you. The people around you are in this space where they're recognizing a decision needs to be made. So, you know, these could be work colleagues, you know, work partners, anybody that's surrounding you, right? This is not, so the Two of Swords wouldn't be you. Again, it's those around you, recognizing that it's time to compromise. Like maybe you need to compromise, right? Or they're making a decision. They're trying to decide if they still want to, you know, either be in business with you or work with you, whatever it is, because there's something about the choices that you're making right now that troubles them. It's troubling them. And so when it comes to work, money, career, whatever this is, however you're making your money, somebody around you is sort of at cross purposes with themselves. So your inner emotions, we have the Three of Wands. So the Three of Wands is about being very focused on expansion, right? So this is your hope, but I feel like your fear is that it's not going to happen in the way that you would like. This is also the card of teamwork. So while this is your hope and your fear, you're trying to get on board with somebody when it comes to expansion, when it comes to making money, but it's, you know, again, it's what you're looking for, but it's also that you're fearing it may not happen in the way that you see it needs to happen. All right, so let's see what the final outcome is. The Eight of Cups is a walking away. It's a withdrawing. It's a moving on. It's abandoning a situation. So Libra, this is either where you're at right now, where you're just coming out of. The energy doesn't understand the calendar, right? I mean, that's a man-made thing. But there's definitely a walking away. But the thing is, I feel like, you know, the Eight of Cups is a sad but without regret kind of energy. You know, there's no regret here. It's making the decision to leave something. Making the decision to leave. So that, you know, this is what I have. So maybe that the mice energy, right, that needed to be cut out, perhaps this was this situation that something was just really bothering you within a workspace, and you making the decision now to move on, or maybe some sort of falling apart of a connection within work because of what somebody views as bad decisions on your part. Doesn't mean they were bad. It just means that this is how it's coming out as being understood energetically. Ultimately. All right, my friends, that is what I have for you for career. And we're going to go into relationship now, okay? So, same deal with relationship. We're going to pull the Halloween Tarot for crowning messages. First one is the Moon. Okay, we get the Moon again. Again, unseen problems, right? Something in your subconscious when it comes to relationship. Some sort of unseen problem, and feeling the need to make some sort of voluntary change. The Moon is everything that we feel under the surface. So it can be either you're feeling or being very secretive, or you're feeling like somebody else is. In the Moon, because the Moon rules the fourth house. It's the fourth house of those are the stories that we tell ourselves, and it's more specifically like what we want, need, and desire to feel safe, to feel secure, the reality of a situation. Just something to keep in mind. And then we have it working with the Temperance energy. Temperance is about balance and harmony. The idea of self-control, the idea of moderation, the idea of what do you need? What do they need? What does the situation need? And you're doing a lot of thinking about this, Libra. I feel like you're very deep, very pensive within yourself, thinking about what that even means in your relationship. And then we have the Seven of Ghosts, which would be equivalent to the Seven of Cups. So there is some confusion here with this. The Seven of Cups is a commitment issue card because of too many choices. So this could be you, or this could be somebody that you're dealing with. They have issues with commitment. They have issues keeping their word. They say one thing, they do another. But what's confusing about this is that it's a 7, right? It's in 5 of the cups, but you don't know what's in 2. And, really a lot of times that's just because you don't know how something is going to turn out. So you're almost afraid of overcommitting to something, if that's even a thing, overcommitting. I don't even think that's a word. But it's like promising yourself to a situation because you just don't know. So you might be afraid of 100% giving your heart and soul to a situation because there's something about it that you don't trust. So the commitment issues can certainly show up like that. Or I'm going to give a couple of interpretations because this is a general message. Some of you are dealing with somebody who just straight up has commitment issues, too many choices. All right, and then we have the Two of Cups. So the Two of Cups is about romantic love and partnership and proposal and marriage, and really wanting to feel good in something, right? Because this is a Venus and Cancer energy. So Venus is very soft. Venus is about not only about love, but Venus is also what we value, right? I mean, it's your ruler, right? Venus is your ruler and is also rules Taurus, right? And Taurus, that second house, is things that we value in relationships, right? And then having it connected to Cancer in this energy with the Two of Ghosts, it's about, really getting in touch with what do you need to feel good in this relationship, in this partnership. But there's conversation here, I feel like, there's a proposal of something like, let's try this. Some of you may actually be getting there may be a proposal of marriage involved in this, or let's get married, let's move in together, let's have a baby, let's deepen the commitment, let's do things differently. It's this proposition that's going on. But I feel like there's going to be some confusion involved. So maybe you're the one proposing something and they're the ones with the commitment issues, right? Who are maybe not being completely 100% honest, or it could be vice versa. It can always be that way in this. But there is this idea of somebody feeling something underneath the surface, figuring out what's necessary to make this relationship work, vibing some sort of commitment issue, whether it's you or them, but then still, despite that, there's this proposal of something going on. You know, and again, the proposal could literally be something having to do with marriage or whatever, moving in together. Okay, the Knight of Swords just popped out. So the Knight of Swords can be conflict energy. This is somebody who's very fast talking, and somebody who kind of comes in and is just all about speaking their own truth, right? Very, what they need. I need this, I need that, I think it should be this way, right? So Taurus and Gemini energy, right? So Gemini is the swords, which is communication, and the need to learn something. With Taurus, again, is that second house of what we value. So somebody coming in and saying that, this is what's wrong with you, and this is what I need, and this is what we have to do, and we have to make some changes. The Knight of Swords energy does incite a lifestyle change within the relationship. So I'm going to put this over here only because that just sort of popped out. I feel like that's an extra message. So let's see what's happening now in the relationship. Ten of Wands in reverse. Okay, so the Ten of Wands in reverse is taking a break. Finally saying no. Just saying no, lightening things up for yourself. Putting your foot down and just like, no, I'm not doing this cycle anymore. It's like, to me, that, when that comes out reverse, it's kind of like it's done already. Now, it's still a minor arcana, even though it's 10. So this can definitely be just like, the stress was too much. I got too exhausted. There were too many burdens. Had to put the wands down. It got a little too crazy. Now, for some of you, if you're in a marriage, obviously that would be ridiculous to say that. Every Libra watching this is getting out of a relationship. That's silly. But like, let's say you're married. This is the kind of thing where you go into compartmentalizing mode, where it's like, all right, you know what? I can't do this. I can't deal with this person right now. I'm going to put them in this metaphorical cabinet in my mind and just shut the door and lock it right now and just deal with life and deal with what I can control. And I will deal with that later, at a different point, especially if you're going through stuff in your career like that came up. You're going to focus on other things right now. A situation in family that's a lot more pressing, right? Some of you are going to be in that space. Others of you, you ended it. It's, it's ended, it's done. So let's see what's influencing you for better or for worse here. We have the Five of Wands in the reverse. So we got a couple of reversals here. I like this a lot more because this is about harmony. This is about success. This is about problem solving, right? So having this be done, right? I mean, it just had to be done. Just the way it is, right? It's because it's Saturn and Sagittarius. It's like, became too difficult. And then you guys having the conversation. So some problems being resolved here. So having the conversation that you need. So I would think that would be a for better, or maybe not. Maybe, well, let's see what else comes out. So we have the Queen of Swords, hopes and goals on here. The hopes and goals of the Queen of Swords in reverse. The Queen of Swords in reverse is somebody who's super cold right now, very rigid in their thinking, pretty dishonest, just not the nicest energy right now. And, I'm wondering if you're not trying your very best to not re-engage with somebody right now, Libra. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're in this space where it's like, Spirit, please give me the strength to knock it back with this person, or please give me the strength to, stand my ground or do whatever I have to do, because if you're dealing with this Knight of Swords energy, this is a person who has a very sharp tongue, who is very quick on their feet, who, with comebacks and stuff. And so while I see there was an ending, there's a conversation, and your hope and goal is to be able to sort of go into that mode, go into that being almost very like rigid and kind of shutting off all emotion and being able to, and when I say dishonest here, I say like saying that you don't want to deal with them anymore, even though you do, but you just don't want to deal with them anymore in the way that where it was going. Their unhealthy behaviors, any sort of toxicity, you just don't want to deal with it anymore. So it's like your hope and your goal is that you can be that sense of, let me just be able to go into shutdown, deal with the facts and sort of disconnect so that something can be dealt with. That's what I'm seeing here. So let's see what was going on in the recent past. Four of Swords. So yeah, I mean, this is you taking a break, retreating, resting, trying to recover from some sort of pain here. But there's definitely, while it's a pause button in the recent, so something was over, you're very much trying to figure out what it is that you do want, right? Because that's kind of what happens in the Four of Swords energy, right? Because it's a Jupiter and Libra energy in you guys, and Jupiter expands with that whatever it's in. And Jupiter's all about luck and expansion and moving forward with integrity, right? Because it rules Sagittarius. So really thinking about, what would be required in order for this relationship to work? And if it's even possible, and if it's not possible, then what do you actually even want in connection, right? Like, what is it? So let's pull forward beneath that. What's the history leading up to it? So the Empress reverse, this is about there's some sort of dependence on you, on them on you. There may have been some fertility issues going on here for those of you at that stage of your life. Very limited resources. Maybe money was an issue for sure. But at the end of the day, Libra, Empress reverse is about not feeling good about being in something, right? Because it's just, you can't feel good in something. Because it's a Venus energy. This is straight up a Venus energy, right? This is your ruler. Again, you and Taurus. So what is Venus? Venus is, it's money. Yeah, so resources may have been a thing. Yeah, maybe you weren't feeling connected, but it's also our self-worth and our self-esteem. And how do we feel about being in something? This did not make you feel good. If you're resonating with this connection, you may have found a lot of value in it on various levels. You have to really get in touch with what that was, because it doesn't seem like this person made you feel good about yourself. It just doesn't seem like that. All right. So let's see what's going on in the near future. The Eight of Cups, walking away, withdrawing. He's doing a lot of walking away, Libra. I mean, yeah. Those of you who did not watch the career part, there was an Eight of Cups in there as well. This is, again, very healthy, though. This is like a withdrawing and retreating and moving on, abandoning something that does not serve you, right? Again, Saturn and Pisces, too difficult. It was never going to give you what you wanted. It's not to say that there's not sadness here. There is absolutely sadness, but there's no regret. The only thing I always say with this energy, Libra, just be careful how you construct the walking away. Just be careful how you construct it. If it's a healthy situation. Now, if you're dealing with a narcissist and they're all about just keeping you in their energy to feed their supply that they need and all of that, I'm not a fan of ghosting, but that's an exception. It's just like block. If you could summons up the emotional strength to do that. But if you're not dealing with somebody like that, but you just know that this relationship is just not good for you, it's toxic for other reasons, make sure that you handle it with grace and dignity so that you don't create any nasty karma to follow you. Okay. All right, so let's see your perspective right now, your attitude and perspective. Four of Coins, you're protecting yourself, and you're just really focused on, you want to be in a relationship that brings you long-term security, long-term connection, but you're in this space of protecting yourself right now because you've been through a lot, and I totally get that. right? Totally get that. All right, so let's see what the opinions of those are, of those close to you. So this can be your partner, or it can be friends and family members regarding your situation. Let's see what we have here. The world's reversed. So very interesting, right? Because this is about delays, problems, unfinished business, unfinished lessons, not learning the lesson. So Libra, if you're dealing with a partner who is just consistently making bad choices, who's consistently gaslighting, deflecting, anything like that, that doesn't mean they're a narcissist. It just means that, you know, maybe they're in a bad space in their life, or whatever the case is. They're not learning their lesson. They're just not. Things keep happening within the relationship, and it's like this cyclical kind of thing, and they're not learning. Yeah, they're not learning the lesson. See, your inner emotions, your hopes and fears. We have the Knight of Wands in reverse. So, yeah, I mean, this is something to definitely be afraid of. This is a very chaotic energy. It's somebody who struggles with sexual excess, being extremely impulsive. Even if it's not sexually, it's like they have control issues. Maybe they party too much, they drink too much, you know, maybe they drink too much, you know, they have player tendencies or whatever. But this is a very psychologically based position. This is your fear. It's your hope and fear, but I'm taking that as your fear, because I don't think you would hope for anybody to be like that. Yeah, so there's definitely trust issues here. Even maybe they're impulsive with money, if it has nothing to do with, you know, being a player or partying too much. Maybe there's something about them that it scares you in the way where they're just so heavily impulsive. So let's see what the final outcome is. Final outcome is focusing on the future. We have the Fool energy here, Libra. So this is about taking a chance, a new path, some sort of uncharted territory. You're very forward focused. So I feel like some of you in the Fool energy, you're going to have some sort of fresh hope in the relationship. And that's going to be a very individual decision that you're going to need to make on your own. But I can only give you the weather of the energy, and you engage with it however you see fit. I always say that, right? Like the tarot is like giving you a weather report, right? In the same ways with the regular weather, if it's raining outside, you don't have to go out. You don't have to engage, right? Others of you are going to be choosing, though, to go take an entire new path, completely uncharted, in a new direction, away from this energy. Away from it, because you're very Fool. Again, Fool is Uranus energy. Uranus is all about moving it forward, not dealing with this, not going backwards, not dealing with the bullshit anymore. Honestly, this is what I see for you guys right now. So let's pull a couple of oracles just to close this up. Passion, insane chemistry, liking each other equally and having fun. Love call, someone expresses love, a message of love, thinking of you and letting you know. Cassette, outdated thinking, conditioning, replaying events over in your head. Separation, sadness, missing you, thinking about you, yearning, unsure of future. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like this is this particular week, this particular reading is going to resonate greatest with somebody who's with a very big, challenging personality. Perhaps they have narcissistic personality disorder, or a lot of those traits, or any part of the dark triads, where there's this very high potential and ability to emotionally and mentally manipulate the strongest of people. And I feel like there's been like cyclical kind of thing. Things are good, then they're terrible, good, then terrible. You're together, you're not together, or even if you're together, there's a lot of cycles of arguing and just being emotionally close and then being very distant, feeling completely done with it, and then being like, no, I can't do that right. So that is sort of like that empath narcissist paradigm. And it's a very challenging one, because the outdated conditioning, replaying events over and over in your head and missing, and then the love call coming in and you being very attracted to each other. So there is this potential to sort of get back on that hamster wheel. So you guys do with that whatever you want. I'm only here again. I'm the weather girl for you. So that is what I have for you guys. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.